So Ed, we've discussed about trends and opportunities. And what I wanted to ask you next is, how do you feel that Together has helped ByColony on their journey?
Yeah, the ability to get a quick and reliable, informed decision, on whether funding will be available. That's the most important thing, because if we've got that ability and that visibility, then we can run the numbers and then decide, okay, let's try and make this site work. The inability for banks to come back in a sensible time frame, often those deals will be gone. So, so for us, that's a really important thing.
So do you think it's become more challenging for property investors and developers to secure funding for commercial property projects?
Yes, in a word. They're currently, certainly from a lot of the mainstream banks, there's not the appetite for certain types of commercial property. And I would say probably offices is within that scope. That doesn't mean that the deals aren't good, and the potential, of the deals going forward, it can be fantastic. You've now got to look outside of, the normal traditional routes. So, the likes of Together, they're good partners for, getting sensible feedback in a sensible time frame.
And you mentioned partners there. I mean, do you feel that the relationship is a big part of that? Be able to meet with real people and have real conversations and get quick decisions?
Yeah. Have you ever tried ringing your bank? I mean, I wouldn't know which number to ring or who to speak to. You're not going to get anywhere with that one. So whereas, certainly with Together, yes, it is an actual partnership. Certainly the way I see it, I've got the numbers of the people that I need. And if I've seen something, then I can, ring and speak to the same senior person each time, have a chat about it and get a feel for whether, there's going to be merit in the scheme that we're looking at. And if the feedback is positive, within a few days, then we can generally, concentrate on those numbers and formulate something that might work. But, that feedback and advice is in a quick time frame is really important. So in that way, they're very strong partners. And when you go back, they dealt with you before. They know that you were good people, you paid on time, and we know from our perspective that we were looked after. And it makes the business world a lot easier.
Okay, so we talked earlier about refurbishing office buildings to bring them up to the required standards that businesses need. I know that's something that you've done on one of your most recent projects. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
West Street in Alderley ByColony, that's our most recent one. That was a 1990s tower block. It's 3-story building. But because of its age and position, great location. Plenty of parking, underground parking, all the things you might not necessarily get these days. But obviously that older style. So we again had already done the sums and worked out that you couldn't build it for what we were paying. And so we completely ripped it back to a virtual shell inside and then basically put in everything you would expect to find today. At the same time, that sorted out, making sure that we were compliant, everything, with the current energy regulations, that type of stuff. So the latest low energy consumption lighting, the heating, we just replaced everything, start again. And we then know by doing that, that building is going to be fit for purpose for hopefully at least the next 20 years.
And just thinking about that project, if you cast your mind back now, and working through it, what were your priorities in terms of that refurbishment? What did you want to deliver from it?
Design. It needs to be product. For us, it's about the product. If you come into that building, I want you to be blown away. I don't want you to think of anybody else's building. I want you to come around there and go, this is the one for us. I'm going to happily pay potentially some more money for it. But, that's what we do. We always look to come up with stuff that you weren't expecting. Strong design, excellent amenities, and a beautifully presented product. That's what we aim to achieve.
So it's great to be sat here, Ed, in the colony Wilmslow, which was the original building which we helped you with going back 10 years ago. What does the next 10 years hold for ByColony?
The main focus is going to be on the suburbs, good, decent sized towns, good locations, good transport links, where we think there is opportunity, and the ability for good appreciation, and that might be underserved with the type of product that's there now.
Well, that's great to hear, Ed. And, we're really looking forward to supporting you in that next period of growth.
Great. I'm looking forward to working together again.